Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a step-by-step introduction to Amazon PPC. There is a lot of information in this video, so if you're a beginner or someone who's just learning about PPC on Amazon, I encourage you to watch this video until the end because it's just packed with a lot of value. This presentation is actually part of a presentation that I presented in a Amazon Sellers Summit earlier this year, so I hope that you enjoy it. Now, you're going to see thumbnails come up on the screen throughout the presentation because I actually have videos on very specific subjects to do with PPC. If you are an advanced seller, then just know that I have a whole PPC playlist, which is also for advanced sellers, on this YouTube channel. And if you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Sharon Evan. Nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping by on my channel. I am an Amazon FBA seller. I also sell off of Amazon. I'm also a mother and a wife. I am an entrepreneur, and I also do Amazon FBA coaching. I created this channel so that I could share information with people like you. So if that is something that you're interested in hearing more about, please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to grow this channel. And if you would like to see more videos from me, don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. PPC can be a really complicated subject, and a lot of people can be very intimidated by it. So this is just going to be a great presentation for you to watch. I encourage you to get yourself a cup of water and a notepad and a pen and take down notes. If you are in need of Amazon PPC coaching, I also do one-on-one coaching, and I will put a link to that below. And without further ado, let's get into the presentation. All right, so welcome to my sponsored ads and PPC presentation. So we're going to speak about, in this session, about advertising on Amazon. But before we get into that, let's just quickly understand who I am and why I'm speaking to you today. So my name is Sharon Evan, and I am a 7-figure Amazon FBA seller. I don't just consider myself an FBA seller or an Amazon seller because I actually am also a brand builder, and all of my brands that I sell on Amazon, although they started on Amazon, I also sell them off of Amazon as well. I'm also the founder of Amazon Alpha Coaching, mompreneur, like probably many of you, and I have a beautiful 3-year-old son that makes my life even brighter, and I'm also a YouTuber. So I have been selling online since 2005, and I've been selling on Amazon since 2016. Over the past year and a half, I have coached over 400 Amazon sellers one-on-one. You can see my coaching website on the bottom left and my Amazon Facebook group on the bottom right. So as I mentioned, I also do one-on-one coaching. This is just a little bit about what people have to say about me and how I've helped. Like I said, I've coached over 400 people. Because we will be speaking about PPC, the little red circles that you can see are different people who I've coached for PPC. Okay, so what is PPC? So PPC is also known as sponsored ads, means pay per click. Amazon sponsored ads is the Amazon advertising platform, which gives us as sellers or advertisers the opportunity to place our products in front of millions of Amazon buyers and drive traffic to that product. By using Amazon's PPC, we're able to advertise our products in Amazon's organic search to what I like to call hot and relevant buyers. So the reason I call them hot and relevant buyers is because they've already come onto Amazon and they already know what they're searching for. Now, we just need to make sure that our products are going to be seen by them. Something that is very important to understand is you could have the best product in the world, but if no one is going to see it, it just won't sell. And that is why I love PPC, because PPC is allowing your product to be in front of the buyers from day one, no matter what the organic ranking position is. If you don't understand what I mean by organic ranking, don't worry, I'm going to explain it shortly. So let's just understand very quickly the quick overview of how PPC works. So we're building, obviously, first of all, an Amazon listing, which means having amazing images, right pricing, fully optimized listing, and obviously reviews. Some products don't need reviews in order to sell. Actually, most don't need reviews in order to sell, but there are some that will need reviews. So the process is, it looks simple, it isn't that simple, but I will try to simplify it. So step 1, we want to create campaigns. Step 2, we want to make sure that those campaigns are actually being seen. People are seeing our advertisements and they're getting visibility. Step 3, we want to make sure that those advertisements that are now being seen are actually being considered. People are considering them by clicking on them. Once we've received those clicks, we then want those clicks to turn into conversions. That is the purpose of PPC when you're first launching. So the 3 stages of PPC, there are 3 different stages. There is launch, brand awareness, and scaling. So at launch, which is what we're mostly going to cover in this presentation, the main objectives are to A, rank organically, B, get sales velocity, and C, figure out our keywords. We want to, when we're launching our product, to make sure that we're getting as much visibility, and that is going to get us as many clicks as possible, and those clicks are going to turn to as many conversions as possible, and that is going to help us to rank organically. FYI, it takes about up to 90 days to figure things out with your PPC. Absolutely normal. Once we're past the launching stage, we're usually at the brand awareness stage, which is at the stage where we want to own as much what I like to call real estate as possible on our relevant keywords. We want to show up on as many competitors' pages as possible, and we are able then to broaden our reach and target broader sets of keywords. After brand awareness is also scale, which that is all about growth, but we're going to focus on the launching phase. So you could then have the best PPC structure in the world, but if your product is very me too, or the listing just is not good enough, you won't convert. So understand that the type of product you have and your PPC goes hand in hand. You want to make sure that your product is seen, but you want to make sure that the product that is being seen is actually going to convert, and that is why you need to have a great product with an amazing listing. So what does a great product mean? Great product means we have a product that functions correctly, that solves a problem, a product that is differentiated. We don't want to just copy and paste a random product and slap a logo on it, not differentiate in any way, and we especially don't want to get into saturated markets. Differentiation is key. We want to make sure that our listing images are amazing images that are going to convert. That means lifestyle images of beautiful people really happy and pleased with the product. That's infographics, everything that they need to know about the product that is important for them to know, features, etc., must be in your photos. We don't want people to go searching for the features of the products. For example, if the product is made in America, you would have in the infographic a little American flag, etc. We want to have a what's included image. We want to make sure we've got images also of the packaging and the product, and also before and after images, and images in general that make sense for our product. Keynote to remember is that the most important features should be inside of your images. We want to make sure that our listing is keyword optimized. So you can use different tools like HELIUM 10 or brand analytics to make sure that you've got your keywords in place. We also want to make sure that our pricing is on target. When you're first launching, you don't want to be the cheapest product, and you also don't want to be the most expensive product. Sometimes that will need a little bit of trial and error, but the price can also affect how your PPC will convert, whether it will do well or not. Reviews above 4 stars. So it is best to advertise with a above 4-star rating. If you're wanting to advertise a product right now that has 2.5 or 3.5 stars, obviously your conversion is going to be very different from when you have above 4 stars. So PPC is most effective when you have 4-star rating or above. Okay, so how does PPC actually work? So PPC is an advertising method where the advertiser pays only for the advertisement that a potential buyer clicks on. Sponsored ads will appear in front of organic search results on Amazon, which is also what makes them so effective. Relevant hot buyers or hot shoppers are visiting Amazon to buy something specific, and then they see the relative advertisements during the search and purchase process. So notice on the left hand side here I have an image. over here where my mouse is moving, 1, 2, 3, and 4, these are organically ranked. But the ones in the red are actually the sponsored ads. And notice that the sponsored ads show up before the organic ranking. So if you've just launched your product, notice that this one here only has 13 reviews. They're organically probably on like page 5 or 6, but they're number 2 here because they are using PPC. And this is why it is so effective. So a buyer has 7 days to purchase a product since they clicked on your ad for that sale to be considered as a PPC sale. So where do buyers actually see our sponsored ads? So there are 3 different places where your ads may show up on Amazon, and that is top of search, rest of search, and product pages. So top of search, if we just go back here, is this first line on the first page. These places here, on some keywords it may be 4 places, on some keywords it may only be 1, on other keywords it may be 5. Okay, top of search is referring to the first page, to the first few spots on page 1. Rest of search is anywhere that is beyond the top of first page. So it could be the top of page 2, it could be the rest of page 1. Anywhere apart from top of page 1 is referred to rest of search. So product pages, we're also able to advertise our products on other product pages. And also other results like the add to cart page, etc. So Amazon actually gives us, and you can see over here I have an image of it, they give us the opportunity to also adjust our bids by placement. So if we want our product to be placed higher, we're able to add a percentage to our original bid according to where we would like our products to be placed. So the bidding auction. So with Amazon PPC, it is basically an auction. So the CPC, otherwise known as cost per click, depends on the bid in which you bid. The PPC module is like an auction, which determines what PPC ad will be placed where and what time according to the bid the advertiser gives. The higher bidder will win the best ad position according to relevance the product has to that keyword and the likelihood to convert. The highest bidder will pay slightly more than the second highest bidder. So Amazon, you can see over here in the image, will actually give you a suggested bid. Notice we have the lowest suggested, a mid suggested, and the highest suggested. And obviously we would bid differently on different campaigns and the different purposes. On some campaigns where I'm trying to rank, I may bid higher, and on some where I'm trying to discover keywords, I may bid lower. Targeting methods. So there are 2 main targeting methods, which is automatic and manual. Automatic basically means that Amazon is going to take the information from your detail page and is going to use that information in order to find relevant keywords to show your product on or product pages. With manual campaigns, we actually choose what keywords we are going to target. And within manual campaigns, there are 3 different match types that we can choose. Now, I'm going to explain them very shortly, but this image on the left is actually an image that I took from Amazon. And you can see the way that the pyramid looks is exactly how PPC is. The more restricted you get with your targeting, the higher your bids will be. Meaning automatic campaigns are the least expensive, and the more restricted you get from broad to phrase to exact within your PPC targeting methods, the more the cost per click will cost. However, the more restricted you get, also the more you're targeting only a very specific type of buyer, and the likelihood to convert is higher. Okay, so what are targeting methods that we have on Amazon sponsored products? So the first targeting method, as I mentioned, is automatic, where Amazon uses the data from our listing and from our back end to choose keywords and product pages to target. However, we're also able to let Amazon know and what kind of keywords and product pages we would prefer for them to target. Within the automatic campaigns, you also are going to have 4 different targeting groups, and you can see that in this image here. So close match, loose match, substitutes, and complements. Close match means keywords that are most relevant to your actual product. So if you're selling, for example, gold eye patches, keywords like gold eye patches. Loose match means keywords are a little bit more broad to your exact product. So if you're selling a gold eye patch, it may target keywords to do with anti-aging, for example. Substitutes means other product pages that are just like your product. So if you're selling gold eye patches, it would be other gold eye patches. And complements means products that are complements to your product. So for example, if you're selling gold eye patches, then your product may show up on gold face masks, which is a similar product and is a complement to that product. So within the automatic campaigns, you can actually bid accordingly to those targeted groups. So you could bid, for example, a little bit higher on close match and on substitutes, for example, if you want to make the automatic campaign a little bit more restricted, and then bid a little bit less on loose match and complements, for example. So that was automatic campaign. Moving on to understanding the different targeting methods. So the first method that we have in manual campaigns is a broad campaign, which usually has the least expensive cost per click. And in broad campaigns, the customer search term must include all the keywords, but can be in any order and include additional keywords. So for example, if I was to put in gold eye patches in a broad campaign, Amazon could target gold patches for under eye. That means that I'm giving Amazon keywords, but they can play around with the order and they can also add other keywords within the targeted keyword. Under the phrase method, customer search term must have the exact phrase targeted in order, but can include other words before and after the targeted phrase. So for example, gold eye patches, if I was to put in gold eye patch, Amazon could then target the search term under eye gold eye patch for women. So gold eye patch was still in a row. Amazon added a keyword before and after, but they cannot change the order of the keywords that I had put in. In the exact campaign, exactly like the name, Amazon will target the exact keyword that you have put in. So usually that has the highest cost per click, but you have complete control over the exact bid on the exact search term. And like I mentioned, it will target the exact search term that you have put in with no added keywords. And then we have product targeting. So product targeting allows you to target product pages or categories. So this means that shoppers will see the sponsored ad when looking at the product pages of competitors. So product targeting is something a lot of people sometimes don't utilize, and in my opinion, it is extremely, extremely powerful. Think about it. When a shopper is on a product page, everyone scrolls down to look at the reviews. All right, so if you've lost the consideration process, meaning the shopper did not click on you, they clicked on a competitor, you now have the opportunity to get back into the consideration process by showing up on their product page. So essentially, after they look through the images, etc., they'll scroll down to look at the reviews, and then they're going to be bombarded by a lot of different sponsored ads, and that is your opportunity to also show up. So that is like a second chance basically to get back into consideration. So let's talk a little bit about physical stores. So when we go into a physical store, we see products on shelves. Usually the store will put the best sellers at the eye level of the shelf, meaning usually, as you can see in the image here, it is usually in this area you'll have the best sellers because that has the most visibility. So not only do you have top and bottom, but you also have rows. So essentially, if you can see my mouse moving, imagine if your product was the last product over here, there is no visibility. It is very, very hard to find, and it is not easily accessible. Or else if your product was shown on the top of the shelf, okay, over here, it was one of these on the first row, you know that that's going to have the most visibility. And that is very similar to Amazon. Only on Amazon, I call it digital shelving. So exactly like we saw in the slide before, we always want to make sure that our products are visible. We don't want them to show up on page 100 or page 5 or whatever it may be. We want them to be on page 1 because most of the buyers will buy off the top of page 1. You can see that these 4 ads have the most visibility, right? And this is why sponsored ads are so important. So when you look at selling your products online, On Amazon, it's just like selling a product in store, only instead of your product being on a shelf in store, you now have digital shelving. And you want to make sure that you are at the top row in the most visible place for the correct keywords. So relevance and indexing. So Amazon uses the information from your listing, which I've explained a few times already, and other details to determine your indexing. So what does indexing actually mean? So to be indexed means that Amazon finds you relevant for that keyword. However, it doesn't mean that you're going to be on page 1. You could be relevant for that keyword, but show up on page 100, for example. Or else ranking is the position of a product on a search page. So there are a few factors that go into ranking on Amazon's algorithm that the algorithm will consider. And that is sales history, so from that keyword, the degree of text match, so that means indexing, and pricing availability. I've just gone back to this slide so I can quickly show you. So for example, this product here has the organic ranking of position 1. So they are ranked number 1, they are ranked number 2, they are ranked number 3, and number 4. I did not start here because these are sponsored ads. They are not organically ranked here. If they were not going to bid here, then other products would show here. So this is where I would count from organic ranking position 1. Obviously, our PPC is supposed to help us with the organic ranking as well. So ultimately, we want to get as many sales as we can off a specific keyword so that we can eventually rank organically for that keyword. So the 80-20 rule. So something we need to know is that 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your keywords. So let me just explain what I mean by that. You're going to find that you may target, let's just say, for example, out of 100 keywords, only 20 of them will actually get you sales. And that is normal. And it is normal for most of the time when you are advertising on Amazon, because a lot of things will change with demand for a certain keyword. Some keywords will become more popular than others, etc. But usually you will see that 20% of your keywords is where most of the sales will come from. So how do we actually find the 20%? So it goes through a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing, and like I mentioned, it may also change as well. So there are 3 different types of keywords. There are short tails, mid tails, and long tails. Let's just pretend, for example, that we are selling a pink woman's water bottle, okay? So the short tail would be either bottle or water bottle. Now, usually the short tails are extremely broad. If I'm selling a pink female or a pink woman's water bottle, I most probably would never even target in PPC the keyword water bottle. So then we move to the next part, which is the mid tails. So mid tails would be keywords, for example, like women's water bottle, pink water bottle, girls water bottle, fitness water bottle. So it's a little bit more restricted to what our actual product is. Okay, but we can actually make that even more restricted and target the exact type of product that we're actually selling. And that is usually where your long tails come in. So that those mid tails will then turn into a long tail. So women's water bottle can become women's pink water bottle, and fitness water bottle for women, motivational water bottles for girls, water bottles for women, etc. So when I am just starting out, I will mostly only target 90% of the time mid tails and long tails, and I won't even look at the short tails because I want to target the type of buyer who is looking for the exact type of product that I am selling. So if you go to the keyword water bottle, you're going to see any type of water bottle. I want to try and find the type of buyer who is looking for my exact type of product when I'm launching, and that is why I'll focus mostly on the mid tails and the long tails. So how do we actually choose these keywords? So in order to find these keywords, you would need some sort of tools. You could either use HELIUM 10, which they have Cerebro reverse ASIN, or also they have Magnet. If you have brand analytics, then you could also use brand analytics. You could also use the Amazon search bar. You can also look at the title of your competitors, and especially keywords that are repeating themselves. Those are keywords you also would want to target. And eventually, once you already have your campaigns up and running, you will also be able to use your search term report in order to find the right types of keywords. So my launching structure for PPC, this is step 1. So when I am just launching, I will always have an automatic campaign, and that campaign is for keyword discovery. I will also have a low bid automatic campaign, which I usually call this campaign the ACOS saver, and it usually will have a 20 cents bid with a high budget of $1,000. And the only purpose of that campaign is to get me sales at a low bid. Sometimes the bid will need to be less than 20 cents, and sometimes it may need to be a little bit higher than 20 cents. If you're going higher, then you want to make sure that that budget is lower. The only reason that the budget is so high for that campaign, so that it actually forces that campaign to actually work. I will also have an exact campaign. So in my launch exact campaign, I will usually have between 3 to 5 keywords, and those will be the keywords that I want to rank on. So the way that I choose those 3 to 5 keywords would be by using some sort of tool like HELIUM 10, for example, and finding the longer tails that I can actually compete on, and I will put a maximum of 5 in that campaign because it's going to be a trial and error campaign as well. Product targeting, I will have 10 ASINs that I believe that I can compete against from day 1. So I will literally go on Amazon and hand pick those 10 ASINs, and that is going to be trial and error. Sometimes I may pick 10 ASINs and it won't work, and I will need to lower the bid on them and try other ASINs instead. But after about a month or 2 months or 3 months, you should have a pool of ASINs that you will find that you're able to compete against very well and steal some sales from. And then I will also have either a broad or a phrase campaign. I don't usually have both. In that broad or phrase campaign, I will have mid tails only. So remember how we spoke about the keywords here? Okay, I would only put in mid tails. The reason for that is because those mid tails will then turn into long tails, and those are the keywords that I am trying to find. I may also put some short tails in there. It depends on the product. So note that every single campaign has a purpose. If I don't know the purpose of the campaign, I can't optimize it correctly. So it's very important to know why you have made a certain campaign. If you don't understand the purpose of that campaign, you're not going to be able to optimize it correctly. So for example, the auto campaign, that's a keyword discovery campaign. Once I've discovered a keyword that is a keyword that is converting well, etc., I'm going to move that into another campaign. It will take me too long to explain the purpose of every single campaign, but that is something that is extremely, extremely important. I go more in depth on that kind of stuff also on my YouTube channel. You're welcome to check that out as well. So once we have had our sponsored ads up and our ads have been working for at least around 7 to 14 days, we want to go in and we want to download our advertising reports. So you go into Seller Central, you go to reports, advertising reports, and then you can download a report. Now, when you download a report to an Excel sheet, it's going to look something like this, only that it will not have colors on it. I like to color code my Excel sheet. So you can see I would usually go to column P, which is the one in red here, and I would usually filter it from highest to lowest. And then I will usually color code it. Red is usually meaning a higher ACOS. Blue is usually the lower ACOS. And the reason I do that is because once I start playing around with the filters, it's going to help me to understand what converted well, what didn't convert well, what maybe didn't even get enough impressions. Remember to also look at column J, which is over here, which is your impressions. This specific report is for gold eye patches or gold eye mask that I was speaking about earlier. You'll notice that the keywords down here in white, they're in white because the product did not convert on these keywords. These are also keywords that got hardly any impressions. So these are not necessarily keywords that I'm not going to be able to convert on. It just means that they didn't get enough impressions, either because not enough time has passed or because other keywords were stealing most of the impressions. There could be many reasons for it. It could be also that they're keywords that not many people are even searching for. But row J, which is your impressions row, is also very important because you don't want to give up on a keyword that hasn't even had a chance to convert. So this report is then going to help you to optimize and make changes to your campaigns. So I call this the fine tuning. All right, we're moving things around. So once I have filtered that, I'll filter it in different ways. So for example, here you can see that I was looking just for the ASINs that converted. So the ones in blue are the ASINs that converted. I would take the ASINs that converted well at least more than once, and I would then move them to ASIN targeted campaigns because I prefer to be able to control the exact bid of those ASINs, because you cannot negative exact an ASIN in an auto campaign. And if I want an ASIN to get more impressions and to be seen more, or if I want to be able to change the bidding on that specific ASIN, I need to do that in an ASIN targeted campaign. So I would normally take those ASINs and move them to the product targeting or ASIN targeting campaign that I have made. And also I will start looking at the different keywords and how they performed and also move them around to different campaigns as well. Now, notice that for this report, you can see that this was a phrase campaign. So notice here that I was targeting the mid tails. This here, row G, is the keywords I was targeting, and row I was the customer search term that Amazon actually ended up targeting. So here is what I was targeting, row G, and row I is what Amazon ended up showing the sponsored ad on. So this is how I can find those keywords. When we're speaking about how do I find those keywords, here, this is exactly how I find them, by looking at the automatic campaigns or the manual campaigns, the broad or phrase campaigns that I've made. That is going to give me a whole bunch of customer search terms that I may not have even found had I not actually looked here at those keywords. So notice here, for example, collagen eye mask, gold eye patches. I may have never even targeted a keyword like that or known about that keyword. And that is why phrase and broad campaigns are so effective, because it's taking the exact mid-tail that you've given it and it's turning it into a longer version of that keyword or many different variations of that keyword. And sometimes there are keywords that you wouldn't have even known about. So keywords that I did not perform well on, I will either lower the bid or negative exact, depending on the relevance. So in a phrase or a broad campaign, I can't lower the bid for the exact keyword. So if I have not performed very well on a keyword, meaning I've had many clicks, let's say 20 or 30 clicks, and I've got no conversion, I may need to negative exact those keywords for now. Maybe now I'm not able to convert on them well, but maybe I will be able to convert on them as my listing improves. So I may need to negative exact that. It really depends on the relevance of that keyword. Okay, and notice also, and this is something that most people will obsess over, is the ACOS. So what is the ACOS? ACOS is your advertising cost of sale. So it is a percentage of sales that came through your sponsored ads. The ACOS is going to help you to measure how effective your campaigns are, and it indicates the ratio of ad spent to ad sales. So you can see I've put an image here. In this campaign, I spent $56.13 and I got back $269.66, which gives me an ACOS of 20.82%. So the way that you would calculate your ACOS is you take your total ad spent, which here would be 56.13. You would divide it by your total ad sales, which here would be 269.66. You then times that by 100 and you get your ACOS. The ACOS is only an indication for how many sales you got from your ad spend. But something that you need to remember is that your PPC sales are also going to help you to rank organically for keywords. So although I understand that a lot of people like to obsess over their ACOS, the ACOS is not the most important thing. There is another factor that is more important, and I'm going to show you that in a second. After 14 days, okay, so after 2 weeks of having my campaigns fully up, I will do a more in-depth optimization. Okay, and I will add 2 more campaigns. I may add more, but I would add on then 2 more campaigns. So I will add another exact campaign for the keywords that performed well from my search term report. And I will add more ASINs to my product targeting campaign. I may also add another product targeting campaign. If I see that some of those ASINs are taking too many impressions, I may move them to different campaigns. So the keynotes I would like you to take from this. Number 1, optimization. There is no such thing as autopilot. You must optimize at least twice a week. Once a month, you want to do a major optimization, and you want to go in at least twice a week just to make sure that everything's okay. I don't mean to over-optimize, I just mean to fine-tune and do a little bit of cleaning up. Something else that's important to remember is that PPC is all about trial and error. There is no one way that PPC works for a product. Every product will have a different strategy that'll work for it, and more than one strategy can work. Added campaigns. Over time, I am going to add other campaigns as well. For example, misspelling mistake campaigns, Spanish keyword campaigns. Once I have brand awareness and people are actually searching for my brands, I don't want my competitors to show up number 1. I want to make sure that I show up number 1 so that no one's going to steal those sales away from me. So I will also target my own brand names and also other brand names. Like I mentioned earlier, over time our listings are going to improve, and as our listings improve, we may be able to target keywords that we weren't able to convert well on earlier. We may be able to convert well on them now. So we want to try those keywords again. And tacos we're about to speak about. I mentioned earlier that we don't want to attribute our ad spend from our ad sales, but rather from our overall sales. So let's talk quickly about the tacos. The tacos is the most important thing, not the ACOS. And the tacos is your total advertising cost of sales. Due to COVID this year, one of my beauty brands has had the highest ACOS it has had in the last 3 years. And you can see that over here, 33.64%. But if you have a look at the bigger picture, this brand has made year to date, and you can see that here, almost $400,000 in sales, but we only spent $20,000 on advertising. So this $20,000 on advertising over the years has become so small, and our organic sales have become so high because we performed the way that we did on our PPC in the first few years. So remember that your PPC is going to help you get more brand awareness. It's going to help you get sales. That sales velocity is going to help you to get organic ranking. And once you get sales, Amazon's going to start rewarding you and actually ranking you organically for those keywords. So your PPC is also helping you to push through those organic sales, which is why you can't only look at your PPC ad spend. You can't only look at how much did I spend on PPC and how much came in from that PPC. You need to look at the bigger picture. How much did I spend on PPC and how much did I make in sales in general? Because this 33% may look high to some, but my overall total advertising cost of sales is only 5.28%. So remember that your tacos is more important than your ACOS. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation, and I wish you happy advertising on Amazon. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me, as you can see here on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. I invite you to join my FBA group, and you can also find my coaching services on the website below. I wish you guys the best of luck and happy advertising.